ACS has worked with a number of key industry and government partners to create a detailed data sharing framework to address the issues of data privacy.
We're looking to try to tell whether we have personal information in linked de-identified data sets. The challenge really is that when you bring a lot of data sets together, there's always a concern that you have some degree of personal information. We're just trying to work out some measures and build some risk frameworks around those measures. I've had the pleasure of actually leading this activity during the course of now 17 workshops, and we've had people from every state and territory government, as well as Commonwealth government, some government agencies, the Bureau of Statistics, CSIRO, some household company names, and some individuals who just care deeply about privacy. Our critical issue with this activity was to try and tell how much personal information was in sets of linked de-identified data sets. And if we could tell, then we could build risk frameworks around the data sets and the use of that data. Our single biggest objective was to build a measure of how much personal information, and we explored a number of very promising approaches. The second aspect was to build risk frameworks based on the knowledge of how much personal information, and we really made a lot of progress in that space. Now we're looking at some of the other aspects around who would have access to data and under what purposes. That work's ongoing. The 5 Safes framework is a model which is being used in Australia and New Zealand and the UK to look at factors of risk around data sharing. And it talks about safe people and safe projects and safe data and safe setting and safe outputs. It's a conceptual framework that allows you to think about the factors you need to take into consideration when thinking about using data. It turns out data sharing is a very big and subtle and complex problem. So we narrowed the problem down to make it tractable. We talked about de-identified data, we talked about data without health, and we talked about using data for discovery or research purposes. So we narrowed the problem down to make it tractable. We've got something really good now, and that gives us something really to stand on and allows us to start to explore some of those other dimensions. So we could be at this for a very long time, but we've got something practical that we can get going with and something we can build on. The challenge of data sharing is not unique to Australia. Every country around the world struggles with this problem. So there's actually an international standards study group which has been initiated, which Australia is strongly promoting, to try and tackle this problem at an international level. So what we're doing here is helping to inform an international activity.